State. This is a whole different animal. These are pros. They're not in awe of you. They don't fear you. This is the NFL. Everybody was an All-American, was an All-Conference player at somewhere.
Yep.
Were great somewhere.
Yep.
So all I'm saying is, Chase Young, you need to understand, since you've spoken and you like, I want Tom, I'm coming, you need to come. And everybody remembers what Von Miller did in the Super Bowl to Cam. You need to have that kind of a game. You need to have that kind of an impact to back up what you're saying. Now, I'm going to be watching. I was planning on, what was I planning on doing? Watching the game anyway. But I'm going to be watching with a very, very close eye, Skip. I'm going to make sure I keep my eye on Chase Young and Donovan Smith, or Chase Young and Christian Worth. That's the matchup I'm going to watch.
That will boil down to one of those two.
So I'm going to see. Chase, please, you need to go out there and take this game over. You need to be Reggie White against the Patriots in the Super Bowl. You need to have one of those type games because, bro, you put it out there. I want Tom. I want Tom. Everybody always wants something until they actually get it, and then you realize, man, I don't want this. I don't want these kind of problems because that's a different animal.
Okay, as I always tell you on this show, there's one man in sports I would never bet against. And he now wears number 12 in, what's that color? Pewter. Okay. There's one man whose cape I wouldn't tug on before a big game, especially a first playoff game. And that's that guy, Thomas Edward Patrick Brady Jr. And just for our younger viewers to remind them, there's a side of Brady, his alter ego, I call Psycho Tom. And you don't ever see it during the week, but occasionally during a game, it comes out where he just kind of loses it during the he'll run down and headbutt Gronk after a big touchdown throw. And he'll also trash talk. He'll go back and forth with somebody on defense. If they want to talk, if they started, he'll try to finish. Right. Okay, I want to remind everybody of what happened in a game 2007. First year that Tom Brady had Randy Moss, and they got to 12-0, and here came the Pittsburgh Steelers to Foxborough. And there was a young man who was starting at free safety for Pittsburgh named Anthony Smith. Anthony Smith. He was only starting because my friend Ryan Clark had spleen surgery, so he was gone for the rest of the year. So Anthony Smith got elevated in the starting lineup, and he made the mistake before the game of talking about Tom Brady and the Patriots, saying, well, everybody says, how are we going to deal with them? And the question is, how are they going to deal with us? And then he went all the way to, he guaranteed that they would stop the unbeaten streak, 12-0 at Foxborough the coming Sunday. And what happened right away in that game? Well, Pittsburgh scored first on a field goal, and then here came Tom Brady. And if we could see what happened, Tom Brady first hit Randy Moss with a shorter touchdown pass of 4 yards, and ran into the end zone and got in Anthony Smith's face.
Look at James there. You know James go back in, boy.
James come back. And then he came right back the next series and went bombs away to Randy Moss for 63 yards, victimizing one poor Anthony Smith.
Because he's supposed to be the whole safety. Look at him.
There you go. Goodbye. And Tom Brady got a great kick out of that. So that's how he responds to that kind of trash talk pregame. Right. Now, at that point, Tom Brady was a mere lad of 30 years of age because it was 13 years ago. So has he mellowed out some? I don't see Psycho Tom as much now as I used to see.
He got to conserve that energy, Skip.
Okay. Maybe. I don't see that often. But I do think he made note of this. Yet he also understands that Chase Young is literally young. Yeah. And the more I watch Chase Young, he's actually played better than I thought. He's had more impact than I thought he would from what I saw a year ago at Ohio State. Obviously the number 2 overall pick, but they did make him a captain. And yet he's kid-like to me. He plays with youthful enthusiasm, right? You can see it's I don't want to go to childlike. It's kid-like. He's like a big kid still, and it's all fun and games for him right now because they've had a great run into the playoffs, and yet he's dealing from a position of strength right now because how advantageous is it for an edge rusher to get dropped into a line that features Deron Payne was the 18th overall pick, and Jonathan Allen was the 17th overall pick, and Montez Sweat was the 26th overall pick.
And Kerrigan comes off the bench.
And Ryan Kerrigan comes off the bench once upon a time the 16th overall pick. He's one of your backups. And Bostic was a second-round pick, and that kid Holcomb, every time I look up, he's making a play.
He's a thumper.
He's a thumper, and he's a fifth-round pick, but he is playing like he's a second or first-round pick. My point is, how great is it for young Chase Young to be able to come off the edge where it's hard to double block him because you have to worry about 3-4 other guys,
exactly.
Right?
Yes. And he's the type of, Skip, look, Chase Young is the type of, and if we go back and look at Tom Brady's last 2 playoffs, Skip, if we look at the Super Bowl against the Rams, we look at the Titans.
Okay.
He didn't play particularly well.
Okay.
Now, the thing that's always given him problems.
You got it.
Is guys like a Chase Young, a defensive line like what Washington has.
Okay. So actually, Chase Young was speaking from a position that can have direct impact on the quarterback, right?
Direct.
It's one guy where you can't really victimize him as much as he can victimize you,
correct.
Right? You can't burn him with a 63-yard pass to Randy Moss,
right.
but he can get you on the ground.
Right.
He can do damage to Tom Brady in ways that what do you always preach from your side of the table? Knock him off his spot. Put any kind of heat on him. He's going to fold quickly.
Yes.
Well, he does. He is truly in self-preservation mode right now, right?
Oh, you better be.
Okay. You have to be at age 43.
Yeah.
So if they protect him, as you say, you better look out.
Oh, yeah, bad things are going to happen if they protect him. But the guys that's going to play a bigger role is the 2 inside guys. Because, Skip, the thing is that Brady will step up in the pocket. Now, he's not looking to escape. Now, he'll roll more to his right. We saw that Sunday when he rolled and hit AB. But those guys, Payne and Allen inside, to collapse the pocket when those edge guys force him up into the pocket, they need to be there. And that's what gave him problems when he faced Denver. They had Malik Jackson and Derek Wolfe, but they had Von Miller and DeMarcus Ware. So if you was too far deep, one of those edge rushers was going to get you. You step up, those big guys inside was going to bring you down. So Allen and Payne is going to play as key a role as Chase Young, but Chase Young's going to have to get off the rock. He's going to have his best game because he doesn't understand, Skip. And people say, well, you look at preseason, it's one tempo. You look at the regular season, it's another tempo.
Yep.
But once you hit the playoffs, it's the Indy 500.
Okay. I think it was not wise for him to say this. But I also think that spread has ballooned now on Fox Bet all the way up to 8.5. And I told you yesterday, I would take these points as much as I love Brady and the Bucs. Okay, well, No,
I give you the points.
You think Brady and the Bucs are going to win this easily?
Yeah.
I cannot fathom it because of what you have preached from across the table. This is exactly the kind of defense he has a hard time against.
But also, Skip, this is the type of offense that Tampa's defense will destroy. Because you don't move the ball because the quarterback is not mobile enough to get out of harm's way.
Here's what I fear the most. Devin White is gone for this game.
Right.
He is their leading sacker because I don't know a linebacker who blitzes better than Devin White. He is the best I've seen in the whole game. In the NFL, nobody gets to the quarterback faster and more lethally than Devin White.
He has tremendous timing to time it up to hit the gap on the dead run, and he's running. Oh, Skip, he ain't doing all that dancing with them running backs.
Okay.
He running slap over the top of them.
All right, so he tested positive for COVID. And now if he had one more day, if they hadn't been placed on Saturday night, if they had been on Sunday night, he would have been allowed to play. He hasn't been out long enough protocol-wise, right?
The difference between he and Kamara. Kamara gets a Sunday game, he got a Saturday game.
Thank you. So he's gone, and that's against Alex Smith. To me, that's a huge loss. On the other side of the ball, the best receiver on the Bucs, I don't care what anybody says, and they got a bunch of good ones, but the best one, the one that Tom goes to the most, is Mike Evans. And we saw what he did to his knee, and he's now iffy. And Bruce Arians went so far as to say yesterday, he's day-to-day. No structural damage because it hyperextended. It went backwards because he slipped on the turf. But usually when you hyperextend, as you know, it's usually better that way than going sideways.
It's more scared than anything because it buckles. Your first thing you think, oh, man, I done tore something.
Will it be sore? Yes, it will. But will Mike Evans suck it up and play? He'll try because that kid has got big guts. But the point is, what if you don't have your best? What if it's just too sore to go?
Right.
Okay. Now you're down your best receiver and your best. You can argue your best defender.
Right.
I think he is. Of all that they got, that's the most valuable.
He's a complete player. They're not great in pass coverage, Skip. That's why they blitz him a lot.
Yep.
So we're going to make you block him because I don't want him trying to cover tight ends and running backs down the field, although occasionally he gets in there and deflects the football.
Yep.
But Todd Bowles has done a great job of finding what the guys do really well and playing to their strength. Now, he's going to compromise them on the back end because he believes Shaq Barrett, he believes JPP and Sue and those guys will get there before you have enough time to get it off. And you saw what happened against Kansas City. Well, when they didn't get there, it was bombs over Baghdad. I don't believe Alex Smith is going to have that kind of time. And Alex Smith doesn't have the legs in his current state that Patrick Mahomes has. So
your favorite website, Pro Football Focus, ranks the Washington defense third best in the league. They have the 6th most sacks. They're ranked 5th best as